I'm going to tell you there's something different requirements I think they have for driver's licenses now in Florida, and one is the real ID. That was kind of surprised about because I've been living in Florida almost 30 years in the same place. So now they want to have like your birth certificate. I wasn't even born in this state, but original, or you have a passport. So how many people have like a passport? Not a lot, right? This is a new thing in 2024, even though I've been living here forever. So, fortunately, I got an original birth certificate. I also have like a 1040, which is not a copy, it's like an original. That's another thing they need. So I'm okay, but I can see there's going to be a lot of people having problems with that, especially people out of state, because if you were born out of state and you're 75 years old, 80 years old, and you've been living in Florida 30 years, 20 years, whatever it is. Like I'm almost 70, right? Just about 70. So, you're going to have to find your original birth certificate. Have fun with that. So, even though you've been living in this country all this time and you might have all these documents, they want this for the real ID. There's a few things you can get, like a passport, but they want something on one column and something on the other column. And it's some of the stuff is like, it's pretty much a stickler. So, I'm showing you an eye chart. Now, my vision has not changed. I don't have perfect 20/20 vision, but I got around 20/40, 20/35 together, right? Somewhere around there. But one eye is weaker, and I got about 20/70, 20/60 in the other eye, right? Somewhere around there. So together I got 20/40, 20/35. So the rule in Florida, and I read about it, and it's right on the DMV. It says you have to have 20/70 both eyes, and if each eye has to be at least 2200. So 2200, you got to be able to see the E. That's like way easy, I mean, I could see this, the 20/70 with my weak eye. Can't quite see that. I can see like a little 20/60 maybe. Together, I can see the 20/40 or 20/35. So I'm thinking, I could pass this easy, right? Because I only got to do 20/70 for both eyes, and one eye can't be worse than 2200. Easy, right? So I go into the DMV. When they check you in the DMV, they check you each eye for 20/40. And they're saying, well, the law says 20/70. No, they hand you this piece of paper, and I'll show you what it is. Here, they'll say, you got to go to see here, the trick is down here. If you can read that, well, maybe I'm making it too small. I'm trying to blow it up here, but worse than 20/40 in either eye, right? With or without corrective lenses are referred to a licensed specialist for possible improvement. So you only need 20/70 to pass with both eyes. In one eye, either eye has to be at least 2200. But here's the catch: if any one of these are checked off yes, you're gonna get glasses. So will lens improve applicant's acuity, right? Your vision. Obviously, if you got even 20/50 in one eye, so if you have 20/20 both like together, because one eye is 20/20 and one of your eyes is 20/50, they're still going to give you glasses. I'm like, and they never did this, even though so they changed this part. It's kind of pissing me off. So I'm probably going to have to get these damn things, but I'm going to get some of the, what do you call those things? The goggles that you wear on motorcycles that are prescription, so I don't have to freaking mess with glasses underneath this and try to figure, just your prescription goggles. Boom, put them on, you're good to go. But I thought to myself, this is kind of crazy because they have not changed the requirements, but they threw this. They changed something. I don't think they changed the law. I think they did this on a bureaucratic level. In other words, the law always said you got to have 20/70 or better, like down here. If you can read that, I got it kind of small because when I blow this up, it gets off screen. 20/70 or better, right down here, right? Either eye or both eyes together, and neither one of your eyes can be worse than 2200. 2200 means you just got to read the freaking the E on the top of the chart. That's like real easy. Each eye's got to be that good. And 20/70 is pretty easy to pass. I mean, for most people, right? So You would think they would just go in there and check your vision together, 2070 and 2200 each eye, right? They don't do that. They got to have 2040 each eye. Then they send you over. They say, "Oh, you got to go to an optometrist." And then number one is, will lens improve your vision? Of course they're gonna improve anybody's vision, pretty much, unless you had 2020. If you had 2025 together or 2020, and one of your eyes was a little bit above the 2040, but together they're 2040. Say your other eye was 2050, 2060, and you're together you're 2020 because you had a stronger eye. They're still gonna freaking give you glasses. And I'm like, they never did this. This is what gets me. My vision has not changed in basically since I've been 18 years old, 17 years old. It's almost exactly the same as when it was 17. I've never, ever had to have glasses for driving. And according to this, I'm going to have it because of the way they did this. And it's like like I said, they didn't really change the law. They, you know what they did, right? They finagled. Basically. I don't like this. So I'm kind of complaining about it, but I'm just kind of warning people. The real ID is not going to be an issue for me but I can tell you this. We in New Jersey, it was like a year or two ago, where I'm from, we went and got a certified copy of my birth certificate. It took them weeks. There was so much incompetency up there. It was ridiculous. They were like beyond. I have it, right? If I could not, it was not, the weeks, it was like many weeks, like months. Can you imagine what's going to happen to a lot of people with this garbage? It's coming up because it's kind of like a brand new law. So you get a new license every 8 years, right? But you don't have to get, I don't know about the real ID thing, like when that's kicking in, because normally they keep your picture for 16 years, right? But any of these older people that are retired over here and they're from out of state, they're going to have a lot of fun trying to figure this stuff out, man. I want to tell you that right now. So I don't know how this is going to work out, but we'll say, just kind of warning people because I don't think they actually changed. I think the law, if you look it up on the DMV, it says 2070, both eyes together, right? So one of your eyes has to be at least 2070, but each eye has to be at least 2200. But when they test you, just saying it again, they test each eye 2040. So if one of your eyes, so even if you got, 2020 in one eye, and another eye is 2050, you're not going to pass. Even though the law says you got to have 2200 in each eye. What they do is they send you over to an optometrist, right? And then what happens is, right here, it's like they're finagling. Well, lenses improve your vision. Yeah, of course they're going to. It's like, what are they doing? Selling eyeglasses over here or something? It's ridiculous. It's not going to cost me any money for this, but it's like, I don't like this. Because it kind of reeks of some bureaucracy changing this stuff where it wasn't voted on by the legislature. It looks like, some bureaucrat did this. And I kind of wondered, you know how the medical system is, right? Right? Anyway, ain't costing me no money, but it's going to take, I'm going to have to wait till like another month before I get my appointment. And then, I still got time for the license and stuff, but I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I could see where it's going to cause people a lot of issues. But since this is kind of brand new, like I said, a 2070 requirement, that's been the same. That's been the same. It's just how they're doing it right now. When you actually, they don't do they don't check you for 2070, both eyes. The way they mess with it is 2040 either eye. If it's worse than 2040 either eye, then you go to a freaking eye specialist. But that's not what the law says. And like I said, my vision didn't get worse. It's exactly the same as it was 16 years ago. It's exactly the same as it was 50 years ago, or whatever. What would that have been? 50 years ago. Yeah, 50 years ago. Yeah. It's the same thing. So, anyway, over and out on that. So, just some fair warning. Anyway, over and out. Have a nice day.